Hello and welcome to my Japan slash Seattle slash kind of Amtrak haul for my big trip this summer. I hope you've been enjoying my vlogs that I've posted so far from my trip, which should be my Japan and Seattle ones. All of those should have gone up by the time that you are seeing this video. Naturally, I did a bulk of my shopping in Japan and Seattle. Obviously couldn't really do a whole lot of shopping on my Amtrak trip because I was on the train, but I did get a couple of things in Chicago when I switched trains, so those will be included at the end. Most of the things that I bought in Japan and Seattle are for other people. I did not really buy a whole bunch of things for myself to bring back anyway to Japan. I bought a lot of food for myself, obviously. Most of the stuff that I had to configure around in my backpack and my suitcase so that nothing was overweight was all for other people, and a good chunk of that I have already given if they are close by or mailed to these other people that I was buying things for, but I did try to make sure to film as much of the stuff as possible because I knew that I was going to be sending some things in the moment. You'll see what those are, and I knew that I wanted to try and get these souvenirs to people as soon as possible after I got back. So I think I may have missed one or two things and forgot to film them before sending them, but I think that's pretty good considering how many things that I bought. Because I love to make my life a lot more difficult than it needs to be, everything is just going to be listed out in a random order instead of the order that I filmed a lot of the stuff in, pre-filmed a lot of the stuff in, and I do want to try to put prices and the places that I got things on the screen, or if I remember those things, just say them out loud, because I think it might be helpful for anybody who might be planning a trip to Tokyo or to Seattle and they want to try to, you know, budget out how much money to get out, yen, things like that. So let's get into it. Of course, I will be doing Japan first, then Seattle, and then Amtrak because that was the order of my trip. Okay, so the very first things that I bought on the trip were not actually things that I bought in Japan. They were bought on the way to Japan, but I'm counting it because I can. So for some context, my mom and I just have started a big collection of magnets on our fridge of all the different places that we have either gone to together, or if we've done a separate trip from one another, we'll pick up a magnet and then add it to the collection on the fridge. So even though we live in Massachusetts, I did pick up a Boston magnet for my mom from Logan Airport. I don't remember where exactly I got it. I did not get a receipt for this thing because it was not important to me. It was so early in the morning. It was in some type of little market in the terminal that JetBlue flies out of, which I cannot remember which one that is at the moment because I don't do airports and I don't care. This one I'm pretty sure was somewhere in the ballpark of like $8 or $9, which is kind of absurd, but also I kind of expected that because it's Boston and it's an airport, so kind of makes sense. Next up is an LA magnet from LAX, the international terminal. I think I have the receipt for this one, and I feel like this little shop had like a cute name. It was like a bunch of books mostly in that store, and this one was $9.99, which again, kind of crazy for such a tiny magnet, but it is what it is. And then looking at my list, I guess I kind of did organize most of the stuff that I bought into some types of categories. So a lot of my friends also wanted trinket type things from Japan as well, so I did go look around and try and find as many like cute little magnets and keychains and things like that that I could find. So I got 5 magnets from Don Quixote, and they were all, I want to say, anywhere between like 500 and 1,000 yen. Some of the magnets were sold on their own, and then I got 1 3-pack of the magnets, and then I think I did very similarly with the keychains. I did get a keychain for myself because I have a million different keychains all on my keys for my house, and I can't remember if I got myself a keychain in Tokyo last time, but I wanted to try and get myself one this time just in case. So I got 5 or 6 keychains there as well. I got 1 pack of 3, and then all of the other ones were separated out. So I do have mine, but I did also pre-film mine, so I don't know what clip I'm gonna use, but it's fine. So this is my keychain that I got for myself. It just says made in Japan. It's got the Japanese flag and then a little, it's not really an outline of the country, but I don't know what else you would call it, but that is my little keychain that I got for myself. I still have not put it on my keyring, obviously. The keychains were also all from Don Quixote. I don't remember the prices at the moment, but I have the receipt and I can go find it and translate it to make sure that it's the right one, and I can put the prices on the screen. So then the next thing that I wanted to try and get is postcards from Japan for a bunch of people, because I had already planned before going on the trip that I wanted to get Seattle postcards for a bunch of people, and I thought, maybe I should try and see if I can mail postcards from Japan to all of my friends and things like that, because I think that would be really cool. So I went on a little hunt for those. Don Quixote did not really have any paper postcards that I liked. They had some wooden postcards which were kind of cool, but they were quite pricey, and I wouldn't want to mail one of those either. I don't know if you could. So getting postcards from Don Quixote was not going to happen, but we did end up going kind of randomly to the Tokyo Metropolitan Government Building, and they had a bunch of different little postcards to choose from in their souvenir section. And this is the time when I decided to try out and see if my debit card would work and not use any of my yen that I had left out, because I was kind of running out pretty quickly and I wanted to save it for some places that were like cash only, or for refilling my Spica card for, you know, buses and trains and things like that. So I wanted to test out my debit card, because sometimes they will shut it off if you are in a different city. And like, I messaged them in the app beforehand to be like, hey, I'm in Tokyo, any transactions that happen there are me, please don't shut my card off. And they insisted back to me that I don't need to tell them that I'm traveling and it's fine, and if there's anything that they think is suspicious, they'll just send me a text message and ask me if that was me doing that. But I thought, okay, that's great and dandy if I'm still in the US, but not everybody who travels internationally, you know, has international data as part of their plan. Luckily, I had an eSIM and I was able to receive text messages from like automated things coming from the US, so it wasn't a big deal and it was totally fine for me. But I just thought to myself that that would not really work for everybody. But anyway, long story short, I tried out my card to buy my postcards. I think they were like 150 yen each, so I can't do that math in my head and I'm not going to, but I tried my card and it worked totally fine. They didn't even text me to be like, hey, was this you? So that was really dangerous and really awesome at the same time that it worked, because I was like, oh, now I don't have to worry about anything at all, and I can just use my card for most of the other things that I want if I feel like it. Moving on, I bought 9 postcards there. I bought 1 for myself and then 8 for other people to send them out. And this is the one that I got for myself. It's just a bunch of like iconic kind of places in Tokyo, all in little cartoon-ish format. I just thought it was super cute. It's a little Tokyo map, and I actually went to a good handful of these places on my study abroad, and then I also visited a few of these places again or for the very first time on this trip, so it's kind of really cool. The postcards that I bought for other people I know are still in Japan actually, and I know that they have not been sent out yet. It actually was not that hard to send out postcards from Japan. I looked into it and it's really just, you need like a international stamp that you can either get at a post office or from any convenience store that has like the little Japan Post sign on the window. And I think you either have to write airmail on it or you can get like an airmail sticker so that it will go by plane and not by boat, according to the internet. I did ask my sister's husband to help me out with that before I left so that I could send them out before I left, but it was just such a small and quick task that just kept getting overlooked in the grand scheme of things. So they did not get sent out, but I left them there, and I left my sister and her husband a note and asked them to please send them for me and just let me know how much the postage is so that I can send that money over to them. And then hopefully by the time this video comes out, everybody that I had tried to send a postcard to has gotten it, so we'll see. Let's see, next on my list I have various Kit Kat flavors. I got these from Don Quixote as well, a different one from the one that I got my magnets and keychains from. I got, I think, 4 different kinds of Kit Kats. I got a matcha flavor, chocolate orange flavor, strawberry flavor, and gold flavor, which I think is supposed to be like a salted caramel type flavor. Totally forgot about this in the moment when I was filming, but I did also pick up a box of strawberry Pocky for one of my friends. I think
This was around the same price as the Kit Kats were, which I think was around 300 to 400 yen. Cannot lie, having a bit of a hard time like Google translating the receipts that I have, so I'm just kind of guessing on some of these things, so sorry about that.
So then also in this different Don Quixote, I got 3 pairs of chopsticks. There were a few that were on sale, and if you bought 2, you could get them for 80 yen total instead of them both being 50 yen each. So instead of 100 yen for 2 pairs, you could get 2 pairs for 80 yen. So I got 2 of those, and then I got a slightly more expensive pair that I'm pretty sure were either 500 or 550 yen. Next on my list of things that I bought are kimonos that I bought for my mom. Well, actually, yukata, technically. They're the summer kimonos. But my mom, I guess, had been seeing online that people are doing a bunch of sewing projects with kimonos and yukata, and she really loves to do different sewing projects. She turned one of my sister's kimono into like a skirt and shirt of some kind, something like that, and she wanted to do more of that, so she let me know before I left that I was going to be bringing some of those back for her, as many as I could possibly fit in my suitcase, honestly. And I was able to pick up 3 from a thrift store type place called Hard Off, I think, which is an interesting name, but each of them were 550 yen each, and they ended up only being like 3 pounds, I think. They felt a lot heavier than that, but I totally could have gotten more now that I think about it, and now that I know that my suitcase was not even that close to 50 pounds in the end. But I did get her 3, and I thought they were all very pretty, so we'll see what she does with them. Next on my list here, and I'm really kicking myself for putting these all in such a weird order and not even like grouped by what store I got them from, but I also got these things from the first Don Quixote, where I got the keychains and the magnets, somewhere in Shinjuku. I'll try and put the location on the screen. But I got a Cinnamoroll little plushy pouch and a Cinnamoroll keychain, and I thought the keychain was really cute because it's wearing a kimono, so that is for one of my friends. And then I also got a little Godzilla cup type of thing. One of our family friends really loves Godzilla, and he was so excited that I was going to Japan, and I told him that I would go to the Godzilla head statue and take pictures of it for him, and I wanted to get him a little souvenir with something Godzilla, so I got him a little cup. And then his sister, I got her some little Hello Kitty hair clips, also from Don Quixote, and I think both of them were around 500 yen. They were definitely very similarly priced. Next up, I got a little Lucky Cat figurine, I guess you would call it, from the Gotokuji Temple, or the Lucky Cat Shrine. You could only buy one, so I mean, there was a bunch of different versions of it to choose from. They went from like really super tiny, you could get one on a keychain, I think, and then they would just kind of be like standalone little things, and they would just get progressively bigger and more expensive the bigger they got. So I got, I think it was number 3, and it was 1,000 yen. I kind of wanted to get a bigger one, but I didn't know how much it was going to weigh, and I didn't know in the end how much room I was going to have in my suitcase, so I just decided to choose like a good size one that wasn't too big or too small, and that was for my mom. She really wanted me to go to this temple, and my sister and her husband were both like, you're only going to be there for like 20 minutes, like it's not that big, and it's like 2 hours away, like this would be so stupid to go there. But we did manage to go, and I'm very glad that we did because it was super cute. I enjoyed it, and I got a little souvenir for my mom. So then on that same day that I went to Gotokuji Temple, my sister's husband and I also went to Meiji Shrine, and so there was a little gift shop kind of outside one of the entrances. I think it was called Forest Terrace, if I remember correctly, and I got my mom another magnet because it was a cat, and it looked like our cat's like trying to jump up and like reach up onto the counter, so I thought that was really cute. I got her one of those, and I feel like that was around 600 yen. And then I got some sakura candy that are like cherry flavor, and then candy like ice, which are just like little thin squares of candy that are a bunch of different fruit flavors. And I'm kind of mad at myself for not getting myself a bag because I wanted to try them so badly, but they were for my friend, so I didn't get to try them. But I hope if you are watching, that you enjoyed them. You know who you are. Next up are these very cool things that a lot of people in Japan were wearing, and my sister got them for her kids as well. But they're super cool, especially for how hot it is in Japan over the summer. But they are like ice necklaces, like cooling necklaces that you just pop them in the freezer and they will, you know, be super cold, but they can also be like reactivated or recooled down just by running them under cold water, which is super, super cool. And my sister thought it would be a really great idea to get one for my mom for when she goes outside and gardens over the summer and it gets super hot here. It's, you know, as a good way to keep her cool. And then I decided that I want one too. I have not taken mine out of the package yet, and neither has my mom, but they're just like little rings that you put around your neck. They have an opening, obviously, so you can like get it on there. But I got these at a little pharmacy nearby my sister's house, but they have them in a bunch of different places. They've got them in Daiso, and they have them in a bunch of different sizes. So like kid sizes, in the middle, large sizes, whatever you need. They have them pretty much everywhere, and I think these were a little bit more on the expensive side. I want to say they were closer to 1,000 yen, but I think Daiso they were like 500 yen or something like that. I also went into like a traditional Japanese food type store close to the thrift store where I got the yukata, and I bought some traditional crackers for my friend who wanted the fun snacks, and I got them in a soy sauce flavor. So magically, somehow, they made it through my entire flight and my whole Amtrak trip being jostled around and whatever without completely cracking and crumbling and being disgusting. So that is very, very impressive. And they were only 400 yen. Next, I got a little cup ramen for one of my friends that asked me for one. I got it at a grocery store that's like right by where my sister lives, and I don't remember how much this was, but I want to say it's probably around 1,000 yen, maybe less than that. And then there was a day where my sister's husband and I took the kids into Sunshine City to go to the Pokemon Center because he had promised the kids that he would take them there, and they got little plushies for themselves, and I picked up a little Eevee plushie for one of my friends, and that's it. I did not get one for myself, which my nephew was so intrigued by, and he told me that the next time that I go visit them in Japan that I need to go to the Pokemon Center again and get myself a Pokemon. I didn't have the heart to tell him that I don't really like Pokemon like that, and I just said, okay, sure, we'll see. Next time. We're finally coming to the end of a lot of the stuff that I bought in Japan, so this is definitely more towards one of the first things that I bought, but I went to the Koreatown in Japan called Shinokubo with my sister's husband, and of course, naturally, I had to go in and buy something Stray Kids from Japan, and I got my friend and I little matching Chan keychains, and they were both 980 yen, so they look like this. Hopefully it'll focus, but just like my other one, I have not yet put this keychain on my keyring, but it'll go there eventually. But I'm very excited that we've got something matching from Japan. And then the very last thing that I bought in Japan was definitely an impulse purchase and kind of a joke purchase as well, but I got myself a shirt from the airport. Don't judge. But it was in a super like touristy type shop in Terminal 3, and it was a nightmare trying to get anywhere in that store. There was just so many people all in every single aisle, like you were just bumping into people constantly. I was so afraid I was gonna knock a bunch of stuff over. My mom and I joked around that I should buy a shirt, so they had some, and I kind of like the design of this one, so I bought it. You can see the full design of the front here, and I got myself an extra large because that looked like it would fit. Like there were some samples, I guess, of the t-shirts that were hanging out so you could see what the sizes looked like, and the large just looked a little bit too small for me, so I went for an extra large. Obviously have not opened it, have not tried it on yet, but I'm gonna assume that it fits. This one I want to say was just under 2,000 yen, or it was just over 2,000 yen. I can't remember, but I felt so silly picking up a shirt, but it's kind of fun, so oh well. Editing me here, sorry for the jump scare and looking horrifying, but I forgot a couple of things that I also got in Japan. So the first thing is a Biore sunscreen. I
was very tempted to try and pick up one of these sunscreens because I know that Stray Kids were like the ambassadors for it, or like they were connected to it somehow, and I was debating it the entire time because I kept seeing it in like every Family Mart, every time we went to the grocery store, any Don Quixote we went to, I was like, okay, should I get it? I don't know. Like, I have so much Korean sunscreen that I have like refills of, or like multiples of, so I don't need it, but it's Stray Kids adjacent, so I feel like I need to get it. I think the one that I picked up is like the same line of sunscreen, but it's not like the exact same, like the packaging is definitely different. So I got one for myself, and then I got one for the same friend that I bought the Chan keychains for. So technically we have two things that are matching, a sunscreen and a keychain. And then the other thing that I got also in the airport, also kind of an impulse purchase, was a Cinnamoroll skincare face mask for the same friend that I got the little pouch and keychain for. But yes, those are the last two things that I got in Japan.
So that is everything that I bought either on the way to Japan or in Japan. And then I guess just for anybody who's trying to budget for an upcoming trip to Japan, or if you're just curious, before I left, I went to my bank and asked them for some Japanese yen, and I got out about $300 worth. I think it ended up being like 297 US dollars worth of yen, and then I had like a $7 fee or something from my bank, but that's fine. And then while I was there, I got out maybe around 150 to 200 more yen at an ATM, which for me, I had a couple extra fees for that, just from it being like a non-my bank fee, and then the international currency fee, which was maybe around like $7, $8, something like that, on top of the money that I got out. And then everything else I did with my debit card, which it was the price of the items that I bought, and then like little fees here and there. So that's roughly how much money I got out. Maybe I'll put like a total on the screen here and look through and see the damage that I did. So then next up is everything that I got in Seattle. I definitely did not get as many things here because I was not there for as long, and this is gonna be a little bit trickier to remember where I got everything, but most of the shops that I went to were all in or around Pike Place Market, so that's kind of the general area that I was. So I also got postcards for myself and for all of my friends in somewhere in Pike Place Market. I think I went to 2 or 3 different places to just kind of look through and see which postcards that I liked, and I think I got 5 in one store, like inside on a lower level of Pike Place Market, and I got some magnets and keychains there as well. And then I went to a different place and picked up a few different postcards. So those ones did get mailed out, and those ones did make it to their destinations, because I got, well, my mom got her postcard like the day after I got home, so loving that. But I got a couple for myself. This one, I got one of the Great Wheel, which I did not pay to go on, but I did look at it from a distance and take videos of it and take pictures of it. And then I got this Post Alley Seattle Gum Wall postcard for somebody else, and I sent it out to someone else, but I actually kind of liked it and wanted one for myself, so I got this from a different shop near the Great Wheel actually, but that's not where I got this postcard originally, but a lot of the like touristy shops had a lot of the same postcards and shirts and things like that, so super fun. I also got a collection of Seattle keychains and magnets for my friends and myself and my mom. We actually do have a Seattle magnet, or a couple Seattle magnets on our fridge, and I do have a Seattle keychain for myself already because my mom actually flew through Seattle and had a little layover on a trip she went on earlier this year, but I wanted to get one for myself just because I found some stuff that I liked. So the little keychain that I got for myself is this kind of fancier one that my camera does not want to focus on. Oh, there we go. It just looks the exact same on both sides, and this was $6.99. It says it right there on the back, but it was just a little bit fancier than the one that I have. The one that I already have is like a license plate, which is cute, but I wanted to get my own. But yeah, I think I got 5 keychains and 5 magnets, if I'm remembering correctly, based on who wanted like little trinkets and stuff like that. I also, in my browsing of all of the tourist shops, got one of my friends a little Seattle coaster, which was so nicely wrapped, and I had to like rip all of the nice tissue paper that it was all wrapped in and whatever to be able to, you know, film it. While I was browsing all of the different tourist shops, I was eyeballing a lot of the shirts and the sweatshirts and things that they had there, because I figured, well, I got myself a shirt in Tokyo, why not get myself a shirt from Seattle? But a lot of the things that I was really liking how they looked were like pullover sweater type things, and I don't love to wear those because, long story short, I have like a sensory thing with fabrics, and the insides of them start out super soft, but the more that you wash them, the less soft they become, and then it makes it like disgusting for me to wear, and then I just stop wearing them. So I was like, okay, I really don't want to like get myself one of those because I know it's not going to be soft after, you know, X amount of washes, and I won't wear it, and then like what's the point? You know, it's kind of like a waste of money at that point. But I did at first buy myself a little shirt, so I got myself a little crop top because I thought that was cute, and it's really pretty, I think. Ooh, I might need to zoom out. But it's a little lavender crop top that just says Seattle on it. Oh, you can see what size I got. It says Pacific Northwest, Seattle, established 1851. Looks like so. It's a Champion t-shirt, cropped, very cute, and it was $29.99. I left the tag on. I have not taken that off yet. Love that for me. And I got this at the same place that I got the coaster at. So then the last thing that I got for myself in Seattle was a sweatshirt. I caved and I got myself a hoodie because I just could not resist. I really liked how it looked, and it was a zip-up hoodie, which I prefer compared to the pullover hoodies. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. I might need something other than my one long sleeve shirt that I brought with me for the train, just in case it's cold, so I might as well just get myself something here, even though they're all like super duper expensive. Who cares? I'm on a trip, I'm having fun. I'll have something else to remember it by, you know what I mean? So I've already worn this a million times. I just knocked a bunch of stuff over, and if you see any cat hair on it, no you don't. But it is, wow, this is a great way to show this. It's a zip-up hoodie, like I said, it's navy blue, and on the front left chest it says Seattle, Washington on it, and then on the sleeves it's got like these 2 little bands. It's very similar to one of my band t-shirts that I have, and a Cape Cod shirt that I have that is like basically the same as the band t-shirt, which is so crazy. But I thought, oh my gosh, this is perfect. I have stuff that looks like this already. I like the look of it, and now I've got something Seattle. And then on the back it also says Seattle, Washington in the same font, and it is really soft, and it was very comfortable, and it did actually help me out very much on the train because it was a little bit chilly, so love that. I lied, that's actually not the last thing that I got in Seattle. I went to, again, somewhere in Pike Place. It's like a tiny little print shop, and I got 2 thank you cards for my Amtrak trips so that I could give them to my room attendants with their tips. So I got those things, and I think it was probably around like $15. I want to say each one was like $6 or $7 and then tax. And then I did not do any cash at all in any of the shops that I went to. I just used my debit card for everything. So I guess here's my total of how much I spent in Seattle. And then last up is the very few things that I bought in Chicago when I was there for like 2 hours for my layover between trains. Again, I had to get a keychain for myself and a magnet for our fridge collection from Chicago, so I got this little one. Hopefully it'll focus. Excellent. And it's got like a little slider thingy. Oh, it's a little car, like a little taxi that you can move. This was probably somewhere around $10, something like that, which again, crazy for a magnet, but it's fine. And then I got myself this keychain. It's kind of fancy and it won't focus. That's excellent. Oh, there we go. So I got myself this keychain and it was $9.99, and I just got it in like a little market type place up by the food court in the train station. Oh, this one also has a little moving piece. It's got a little sailboat that you can move across. Yeah, I got these with like a couple snacks and it was like $50 for everything that I bought. I got a yogurt, like a small little single serve yogurt, a lemonade, and these two things, and it cost me $50 in Chicago Union Station. So that was horrifying, but I was so exhausted that I didn't care. So yeah, that was everything that I got on my big trip this summer. Hopefully it was helpful to have the prices and the places that I got things, just in case anybody is planning a trip to Japan or Seattle, or even if you are, you know, doing a long haul Amtrak and you want to get a little souvenir from Union Station and you just want to know roughly how much it's going to be. I hope it was helpful, but I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video.